So this is about figuring out how to determine which Eden method exercises and which supplements are going to help you for hormone balance. So this is a question that I see comes up fairly often in the Eden group and also in my clients, because a lot of people struggle with this. When you get to a certain point and your hormones start to fluctuate, and you start trying to find different solutions, the big question is always, what do I need? Which do I need more of this, that, or the other? But then also, what amounts of everything? How is this going to help me? How often should I do these exercises? How often should I take the supplements? What quantity should I take? So these are all questions that you can answer yourself. So I want to show you how to do this. And I'm not going to go into a lot of information about hormones. I'm not going to go into a lot of information about all of the different exercises, but I am going to talk to you about this book, which is Donna Eden's book for women. It's Energy Medicine for Women, and she has a ton of excellent information in here on hormones. So she tells her whole story of the whole journey she went on, discovering different options for hormones and trying out different techniques. She talks about what she's done with her clients. This is my go-to, and I highly recommend this book if you don't have it. So if you're interested in working on hormones with energy techniques, this is the one that you want. Okay, so what I'm going to do is tell you what's worked for me, because I had the opportunity this year to work on my own hormones for the first time. So I feel like I've kind of been initiated into a new phase. And so for me, the way that this came up was I started to have weight gain, which was really unpleasant. And I started to have sleep disturbances and some anxiety, all things that really, really just were not normal for me. And I mean, I got to that point where I felt like all I had to do was look at something and I'd gain weight, look at some sort of food, chocolate, whatever it might be. And nothing I did seemed to take the weight off. So this was all very frustrating, and I know a lot of people can relate to that. So what did I do? The first thing I did was I went to my Energy Medicine for Women book, and I started flipping through and read as much as I could on hormones. So I read about the different deficiencies. I determined that progesterone deficiency was probably my issue. Now, you can determine that by reading the descriptions. You can also determine that by testing, and this is where we want to get into the key piece here. You have to learn how to self-test to do all of this, to really determine these things for yourself. Otherwise, you can go to a practitioner, and a practitioner can test you, and that's wonderful. And I actually do really highly recommend that you see someone so you get the full big picture of what's going on in your system before you start working on things, before you start working on yourself. But if you can't do that for whatever reason, you can start learning to self-test. So just real quickly, if you don't know how to self-test, you can go to my link in the description below and sign up for my email list. You'll receive a self-testing video tutorial that's going to walk you through how to do the test that I'm going to show you right now, because I'm not going to teach you how to do it. I'm just going to show you what I did. So if you do want to learn to test, go ahead and get that video, and stay on the list for at least a month so that you get the video tips that also come along with it. And I also give lots of good energy balancing tips and other information that you might enjoy. Okay, so now that we know that you could test, I'm just going to skip ahead and assume that you know how to do this. You can use testing as a yes or no question, right? So if you want to know, do I have low progesterone? Do I have low estrogen? Do I have low testosterone? You can ask that question of your body and test for the answer. So I use this test, the general indicator test, where we bring the arm up. So for me, I would be asking, do I have low progesterone? A strong test is a yes, a weak test is a no. So obviously you can apply that to all kinds of situations. Now, when you get into figuring out which exercises you're going to do, you find the ones that correspond with whatever your test told you, whatever you've determined is your issue. You use those exercises. and test. Does my body want these exercises? So I did kind of a double test when I was figuring this out. I looked at low estrogen, low progesterone. I looked at the set of exercises for each of those things. I tested also on the exercises. So I read through the descriptions, thought about it, set that intention. Is this what I need? And test. Okay, again, strong test is a yes, weak test is a no. So what I found as I was going through some of these wonderful exercises that Donna Eden put together is that, and these are recommended to do once a day or up to 3 times a day. I did them once a day, and I did them once a day for about probably 3 or 4 days. And then I started to feel like, I just didn't feel so good. So at that point, what does that mean? Does it mean that those exercises aren't good, that they don't work, that kind of thing? No, it doesn't. What it means is that maybe your body doesn't need it as much as you are giving it, right? So we want to go back then and test again, and then you can start getting into the habit of testing every day. So then you're asking your body before you do the exercises, do we need these today? And test. Is it a yes or a no? One step further, sometimes you might need some of the exercises, but not all of them. If you're getting kind of a funny test, you're not really sure, that's the next thing that I would ask. So this is also a process of deduction. Would ask, out of this list of 5 things, go through each one. Should I do this? Test. Should I do the next thing? Test. And so on. Go through the whole list. That's also something I did, and I found that my body wanted some of the exercises, but not all of them. And then it sort of was good. I had done these for about a week, I want to say at that point, and then it just kind of stopped asking for them, and I was testing every day still. Do I need them today? Do I need them today? And I kept getting no. This is a perfect example of our natural fluctuations. Your body probably doesn't need the same thing in the same amount every day, whether it's an energy exercise or a supplement or a food. So this is a really, really key piece that I kind of like to drive home with people, tell this to my clients all the time. And the way that you figure out what your body wants and needs is by testing. It really puts you fully into alignment with your system, and you will feel a lot better when you're in alignment. So here's another thing. Okay, so in the book, Donna also talks about some of the supplements that she found helpful for her and that she's found helpful for her clients. One of the things that she talks about is Mexican yam, which is also called wild yam. You can find it very easily around here. That's something you can use for low progesterone. Now, something she mentions in the book, which I think is great, is how she started, once she discovered wild yam for progesterone imbalance, she started bringing it into the field of her clients during sessions. And if the person's energy system responded, and for her she was seeing this visually, if the person's energy system responded and brightened up and strengthened, then she could tell that they had a low progesterone issue, right? Process of deduction. Now you can find the same thing out by testing, because what she saw is the same thing that you'll feel in a test. That's the body saying yes to something. Yes, I want this. Yes, I like this. So you could find out if you are low in one of these things by finding one of the remedies and bringing that remedy into your field and testing. So I'm going to show you how you do that right now. This is wild yam. This is not something you would find on a shelf anywhere, something a friend of mine made. It's wonderful. So I'm going to bring it into my field. I'm going to hold it right here at my 3rd chakra, and I'm going to test. And that's a good strong test on me. My body is saying yes to this. Now, then you can determine if your body wants it at any given time and how much to take. This is all very important. So just because my body said yes to this doesn't mean it wants it every day. I first tested on this a year ago. I've probably taken it a total of about 12 times in a year. So that tells you how often my body has wanted this. When you're working with hormones, a little bit of a remedy goes a long way, and whether that's energy exercises or some sort of supplement. So you want to make sure that you are really regulating that and what you're giving your body. So I test to find out if my body wants this. For a long time I was testing daily, and I realized that at the outset my body wanted this every day. And that lasted about 4 days, and then it was done. And then it probably wanted it once a couple weeks after that. And then again, maybe once, but it was a couple months after that. And so that's the rhythm that I'm in now. There can be a little uptick where suddenly it seems like it needs it a bit more. That's happened recently. And then it'll probably just die down, or maybe not. I'll see where it goes, right? But this is how I'm following my body's natural fluctuations. Now the next step is figuring out how much to take, right? So if you've got a capsule, you hold 1 and test, hold 2 and test, hold 3 and test. You're gauging where your test is. And again, I explain how to do all of this in that video tutorial. It's too much to get into now, so go to my email list, sign up, get the video, I will walk you through how to learn to do the test and to gauge these things. But if you have a liquid like this, a really easy way to test is to put some into a small glass, like a shot glass. That's just the right size. I usually end up taking about half a teaspoon to a teaspoon. And you test that amount. You can test that amount before you take it to see how much your body wants that day. So that is it in a nutshell. That's all of it. That is all you need to know to be able to start figuring out exactly what's going to help you. And that goes for all kinds of things. So I hope that that's helpful for you. I hope that it made sense. Please do put your questions in the comment box below. If something wasn't clear, I can try to clear it up. But also, I think that if you get into that self-testing and you watch the video, that's going to make things a lot more clear for you as well. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Take care.